And our politics lead, Republican voters in Iowa handed President Trump his first major primary loss last night, rejecting the Republican congressman whom Trump endorsed in his race for governor. Here's Trump's Truth Social post, quote, "Randy Feenstra has my complete and total endorsement to be the next governor of Iowa," unquote. Instead, Republican primary voters selected businessman Zach Lahn. It was less than a percentage point, but it still was an L. Here to discuss and more is the panel. So Lahn, who won, aligned himself with RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again movement. Take a listen to some of what he said last night during his victory speech.
We were outspent, opposed by the establishment, told to wait our turn. Well, tonight the people of Iowa had something to say about that we're not going to wait anymore. I made it very clear as governor, I will take on the big ag cartels, I will break up their monopolies, and I will get Iowa farmers a fair deal. But finally, an issue that's hard to talk about, but we must talk about it. Iowa has the fastest growing cancer rate in the world.
Kevin, that's a Republican insurgent, and President Trump is the Republican establishment.
Yeah, but I also don't think this is a rejection of the candidate, the preferred candidate for the president. I don't think in any way this dilutes his standing or his command over.
Well, he's like 99-1, but it still is an L.
Right, but this is not a candidate that was running against Donald Trump. This is somebody who is a MAHA candidate running in a primary against a MAGA candidate. They're both essentially MAGA candidates. He also, I was very different. He also ran a very grassroots-oriented campaign. That's just how you win in a state like Iowa. The fact that he had Charlie Kirk's Turning Point organization behind him, the fact that he had tapped into a lot of the evangelical support that you need to win, he ran a better campaign. Feenstra, as somebody who was more attached to Washington, probably had a tougher time sort of shedding that sort of insider establishment label in what ended up being a very competitive primary. So I don't see this as a measurement in any way of the president's sort of command over the party infrastructure.
And Ashley, there's also this interesting Senate race. Congresswoman Ashley Hinson is going to be the Republican nominee. State Representative Josh Turek won the Democratic nomination to face her in November and to replace retiring Senator Joni Ernst. The Cook Political Report says, quote, that they shifted our rating from likely Republican to lean Republican. That means a little less likely that it will be a Republican winning. Ashley Hinson is a formidable Republican opponent, but worsening environment helps Democrats in a state that Trump won by 13. We should note the Hawkeye State has not elected a Democrat to the Senate since 2008, before you were born, Ashley. Do you think Iowa is in play for Democrats in any serious way?
I think Iowa should be on the map for Democrats. I think it is still a steep climb, but in a race like that, you actually want Republicans to have to spin in a state like Iowa. When traditionally they win, you want them to have to spin in Iowa, you want to have to spin in Texas, you want them to spin in Maine in ways they haven't had to spin in last cycles and other cycles, which then makes your chances in other races actually more probable. Also in Montana as well.
Interesting. So in California, Javier Becerra seems like he could make the runoffs in the governor's race. We're not sure yet, though. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass advanced to the runoffs. Here is Bass last night acknowledging some of the challenges she's faced in her mayoral reelection.
We're going to build a city where parents and kids do not have to navigate tents, because in the nation's second largest city, there should never be anybody that is sleeping on our streets. We are a city where things have been not affordable over these last few years, but we're going to continue building the housing that we know we are needed in this city. Now, you stood with me for the first half. Will you stand with me all the way?
Now, we don't know who she's going to face in November. It could be a far more progressive city council member, or it could be Spencer Pratt, the reality show host. She better be praying that it's Spencer Pratt, because if it is a choice between an anti-establishment Democrat versus her, I think she could be in trouble.
Yeah, and we don't know, but it is looking likely that it will probably be Spencer Pratt. And I have a couple thoughts on this one. The fact that Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt are even in a competition right now is shameful. I actually think, like, when you just
Both
actually,
of them, or just him?
him, when you actually look at his resume compared to hers, it should not be competitive. But what I heard Karen Bass say in that race, and I think her campaign will have to do, is a both and. She has traditionally run a more traditional campaign, meaning TV ads, grassroots, that stuff. But what Spencer Pratt did was go online. He did the memification of a campaign. She is going to have to do that too, in an authentic way, and also talk about some of her challenges. And to her point, go with me the rest of the way. Didn't get everything right, but this guy will get it even worse. She has proposals and policies and plans that she wants to do. Spencer Pratt has a lot of critiques. I have not heard a lot of solutions of what he would actually do. So we'll see. But this is actually a race I'm going to pay a lot of attention to, because I think it will be determinative of how other Democrats show up in the midterms as well. And more blue states, are they going to be excited enough to show up?
Yeah, one of the analyses that I've read about this race, about Spencer Pratt, and again, we don't know if he's going to actually make the runoff. It looks like it as of now, but these California elections, I mean, they count for years and years and years. So, but one of the analyses I heard that was interesting was that that Democrats have moved so far to the left in some of these places that they cede a common sense middle ground where somebody like Spencer Pratt can come and say, we shouldn't have homeless people, we should just be shipping them out. Or were these I'm just saying, were these critiques find an audience? There are people who voted for Spencer Pratt who are liberal Democrats who live in Los Angeles, who are just fed up with the liberal Democratic establishment, don't you think?
That's exactly. I think they're fed up with a liberal Democratic establishment, but I think it's less about the ideology and the party identity. They're just fed up.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is what Spencer Pratt doesn't have a political ideology. He's running on a line, but that doesn't mean he's really, a traditional establishment Republican. Spencer Pratt, and this happens in municipal elections. I started out working in city government. There's no Republican or Democratic way. Yonkers, New York. There's no Republican Democratic way to pick up the garbage, to make sure that streetlights are being taken care of, that the streets are safe. And so when he can run a very non-ideological campaign focused on the frustrations that people have about everything from economic development to safety, security, those type of issues, he has a huge opportunity. Right?
Can I just say one thing
in
about
this environment?
One of the things that is interesting about California, particularly Karen Bass as a candidate, is that there are progressives that don't think she has been progressive enough in Los Angeles. And so because it is Los Angeles, because it is California, her posture is challenging. And then you had the Palisades fires. And that is just something that
I think that's
had a real issue trying to
By the way, she sounded like a critic, not an incumbent.
Yeah.
She's the incumbent here.
Exactly. Thanks to both of you. We'll be right back.
This Land premieres Sunday at 9 on CNN and next day on the CNN app.